Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Geekgasm TV. My name is Gray and today we're talking about Breath of the Wild and I guess my journey with Breath of the Wild. So I played it back in 2017 when it came out, just like everybody else, but I didn't play it on the Switch, I played it on the Wii U, and I thought it might be interesting to just take a look at the different versions of the game. So the one that I'm playing currently on my lovely Switch 2 with my glorious Pro Controller versus the version that I would have played back in 2017, which is looking pretty dated, it's got to be said. The new version is fantastic on the Switch 2, I'm really enjoying it, but the original version on the Wii U, wow, it's very different. It's very different. Right, let's take a look, and I can talk a little bit about my journey getting my Wii U set up as well. So the first challenge I had was that the battery on my Wii U was completely dead. So if I wanted to show you what the game looked like on that screen, I wasn't going to be able to. So I ordered a new battery, and as you can see, I managed to get it in. It was a little bit of a struggle to start with. You can see just even closing the lid was a bit of a problem. But eventually I got it closed. I'd even actually had to buy the new screwdriver that you can see me using to do it back up. I had to buy that to get the thing open because the screwdriver that came with the battery was next to useless. So fair warning, if you do want to buy yourself a replacement battery for your Wii U, the screwdriver that comes with the battery, not great. But this worked perfectly, and so yeah, I managed to get it undone, and as you can see, get it done back up again as well. So then the next thing was, is that actually going to work? And pressing the power button, you can see straight away the Wii U is on. So success. Well done, Gray. So you're probably wondering why I'm showing you my cupboard of shame. So this cupboard is where my copy of Breath of the Wild was, right at the back, or at least that's what I thought. But it turned out that actually I had been quite ahead of the game back in 2017, and I downloaded my copy of Breath of the Wild. It was installed digitally onto the Wii U. Check me out. So the first thing to notice as the game starts to load is just how long these load times are. We are very fortunate these days to be dealing with solid state hard drives, but in 2017 we were not. And yeah, that loading screen, that took a while. But the Wii U worked great, and as you can see, the game has loaded up without any problems, and I start moving the camera around to check out where I was. Where was I when I left? And I think I'm in the Korok Forest, I think that's where it's called. So two things I noticed almost immediately. So firstly, obviously frame rate. So game is running at around 30-ish frames per second, not consistently, but about that. Sometimes it dips below, apparently. But the thing I really noticed that was the most weird of all was the controller. So the Wii U Pro Controller and the Wii U dedicated controller, the face buttons are below the stick. This is my Wii U Pro Controller. As you can see, the face buttons there are below the stick, and it just makes controlling it really weird. You sort of feel like you're having to almost lift your hand off of the controller, and obviously you're not physically doing that, but it's this really strange sensation. It's even more pronounced actually on the actual controller with the screen. It's very different from what we've come to get used to with the previous Switch Pro Controller and the Switch 2 Pro Controller, which I'm showing you mine right now, which has the face buttons in that more traditional position where they're up above the right analog stick in the same way that they are on a PlayStation controller or an Xbox controller. The other thing the new Pro Controller has are those two underside buttons. Now I haven't made use of those yet, but apparently they can be really helpful for glitches in Breath of the Wild. So one of the things I wanted to test was putting the Wii U under an element of stress, I guess. So go fight multiple enemies in a big environment and just see whether it could cope. Now when I played this on my TV, my impression was that it was really struggling, but looking at it as we are now, actually, it doesn't look too bad. It's not too terrible. I think at this point I'm probably having more problems with the controller than I am because of the frame rate. Frankly, it's perfectly serviceable and perfectly playable, but I am a frame rate junkie. I love playing video games at 60 frames a second, 120 frames per second if I can get it. It's something that makes a massive difference for me when I'm playing a video game. I know that it shouldn't do, and that there are many, many great games that only play at 30 frames per second, but being able to play Breath of the Wild at 60 frames per second makes such a massive difference. So what we're looking at now is gameplay on the Switch 2. Now I'm far, far earlier in the game. Saves cannot be copied across from Wii U to Switch 2, sadly. So I can't play that version of the game that I was at. So I've had to start all over again. And I've been okay with that, actually. There's so much of it I don't remember. Temples in particular, I remember so few of them. I've really had to kind of figure out the puzzles all over again, which has been really, really fun. I've really enjoyed it. But the thing I've loved the most, I think, is just how great the video game looks. So I wanted to do a couple of direct comparisons. So I'm gonna jump back to the Wii U version and just go to the same spot on both consoles, just to give you an idea of how different they look. And then obviously there's another way of comparing the games as well, but we'll get to that in a sec. So I picked a spot called Ridgland Tower, took Link to the same spot in both versions of the game, and I'm just gonna pan the camera around, maybe do a bit of zooming in on Link as well, just so you can see the character model, and we can do a direct comparison with the Switch 2 version. So here we are in exactly the same spot in the game, same tower, and panning around. And I think immediately that 60 frames per second difference is really, really obvious. It's also really interesting when you do a zoom in on Link's character model, and you can see just how much better the definition is on him as a character. Indeed, this is true of almost any NPC in the game. It just looks so much sharper, so much clearer, so much better. As I mentioned though, there's another comparison to make, that being handheld mode. The Wii U, you just tap the screen of the Wii U controller and suddenly you're playing the game on the controller. And it works fine, but the screen is not great by today's standards. And you can't take it away from home. But I figured it was still interesting to just look at what the game looked like while it's played on handheld mode. I'm filming this with my camera. It's the only way I could think of doing it. And it demonstrates how it works. You can see there though, I'm still finding that face button controller stick positioning very awkward. But broadly speaking, game is completely playable on the screen, but much better on TV. Interestingly though, it doesn't make use of something that another Zelda game does. So this is Wind Waker HD on the Wii U. And as you can see, the game is running on the television and I'm seeing something completely different on the controller screen. And this is obviously something that the Switch doesn't do, but I thought it was kind of interesting to see it in action. And I had maybe misremembered my experience of playing Breath of the Wild because I thought it did this. I thought you could access your inventory, all of that sort of stuff while you were playing. Turns out you can't, but what a cool function this is. But enough of another Zelda game. Let's get back to Breath of the Wild and check it out on Switch 2 in handheld mode. So while the Switch 2 doesn't have an OLED screen, it does have HDR while it's in handheld mode. And I've got to say, it looks absolutely fantastic. So I've taken us back to exactly the same spot, back to the Ridgland Tower, so we can do a bit of a compare and contrast. So here we go. Here's Link moving up to the same spot so that you can see exactly how different it looks from the Wii U version. I'll also zoom in a bit so you can see it a bit more clearly. So not surprising at all, obviously. The Switch 2 version is significantly superior to the Wii U version of the game. What is interesting for me though, is that it doesn't take long for your brain to adjust and play the 2017 version on a Wii U controller and have a perfectly fun time. But I am so enjoying the Switch 2 version of the game. It's been brilliant to go back to Breath of the Wild. I've really missed it. I suspect I might complete and then maybe I'll go play Tears of the Kingdom, which I started on my my first generation Switch, but have not gone back to. So yeah, that might be part of the plan. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. It's great to have people enjoying my videos. If you liked it, enough to press like, that would be super appreciated. Please consider pressing the subscribe button as well. We all know it, YouTube's a numbers game, right? So if you want to support, please consider doing so. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.